ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. So now we are supposed to be starting the second sutra. Okay? So as usual, before we start the second sutra, we have the two verses. My Madhusudana Saraswati.
Yes.
This is from that Vaiyasikya Nyayamala. Okay? It will not be there in most of your books.
You had sent something, sir?
Yeah, we have sent everyone that thing, no? Yeah.
Kavita had sent something.
So the verses go like this. As I said, there are two verses for each. What are the 5 points that are there? Sandeha, doubt raised, Paksha, two Pakshas will be there, Sangati, all that thing, yeah. Therefore he says, Lakshanam Brahmanaha Nasti, Kim Asti Va. Lakshanaha Brahmanam Asti Na Asti, Kim Nasti, Nahi Vartate. The question is Lakshana for Brahman there or not there? So the Purva Paksha is taking the stand, not there. Why? Janmadehe Anyanishtatvat. Because the Sutra is saying what? Janmadhyastha Yataha. So I'm saying Janmadhyastha Yataha. Janmadi can be for anything. Because, look at it. You are trying to define Brahman. For whom is Janmadi?
Creation.
For the creation. So the Lakshana that you are giving is for the creation, not for Brahman. That which is born, that is creation you are talking about. Where are you talking about Brahman? Anyanishtatva. The Janmadi has his base in creation, not in Brahman. Janmadi is meant for creation, not Brahman. Then if you say no, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, so we don't know what Satyam Jnanam Anantam is. Why? Because what is the language? In language, Satyam means what? Bhu Satyayam, that which exists. Jnanam is knowledge, knower, etc. Yeah, Anantam kidhar se aaya? Therefore he says, Satyadehe cha aprasiddhata. Not prasiddham. You are saying Satyam Jnanam Anantam, I am not understanding anything out of that. So what he is doing is, he is dismissing Tatastha Lakshanam and Sarupa Lakshanam both in the Purva. He is saying Tatastha Lakshanam. Kidhar se aaya? I will not understand Brahman with that anyway. How will I understand Brahman? Because that there is creation, that I will understand. That creation is born, that, okay, fine. Like anything else. But Brahman ko kaisa matter? How will I know about Brahman? Okay. And if you are saying Satyam Jnanam Anantam, unknown words, for me Satyam means something that exists.
Satya means truth, no?
Satyam means that which exists. There is no truth.
Sat.
Okay, let us take it as truth. Then it becomes Satya Vachanam. Speaking the truth. That I can do. I generally do. कभी थोड़ा बोल देता हूँ, झूठ भी बोल देता हूँ. But generally I speak the truth. So Satya Vachanam will be like that only, no? Jnanam is knowledge. I know that. So, and how is it going to connect it with Brahman? Aprasiddhata, not known. See, this brings in the argument. You can't use known words for Brahman. How can you use known words and understand Brahman? Known words is pot, chair, man, woman. Known words. Unknown words, how will you understand Brahman?
So either way we won't understand.
ये तो अनुभव सिद्ध बात हो गया. Because unknown words means what? Gaga gugang, lado rodang, ऐसा कुछ unknown है, which has got no. So this is actually a good. It's called akshepa sangati. Okay, you're with a doubt you're joining the first sutra and the second sutra. Akshepa sangati. First sutra said what? Athato Brahma jignasaha. Kim tad Brahman will be the next question. Janma dasya janmadi asya jagataha yataha yasmat karana. So he says not possible. Then you have to show it's possible. Okay. But are you getting the arguments? Tatastha Lakshana is talking about other things.
How is he dismissing Swarupa Lakshana?
Ah,
here? I
it's
don't
just going
understand.
to
Because Swarupa Lakshana, because of every word is unknown to me. Or, see, that's why I said, if you are going to use known words, Satyam. Satyam is known sense will mean what? What, etc. It exists, what exists?
Existence.
Jnanam, knowledge or knower, etc. Fine. Anandam, we don't know anything about it. I mean, the only infinite I know is what? Oh, countless stars in the sky. Okay, countless,
Sand parties.
drops of water in the ocean. It's a practical infinity is all that we know. Isn't it? What is the other infinity you know? So it's a practical infinity. That's why even mathematics you will always say tending towards infinity, because infinity cannot be a point. So tending towards it. Okay. So because of that Swarupa Lakshana also gone. That's why I think in one of the talks I mentioned this. Known words cannot, unknown words also cannot. Then what do you have to do? You have to use the known words in an uncommon sense. That's why all the technicalities come in. That we will see in the answer. Okay. So the Purvapaksha is clear. This is how it is. Okay.
Swamiji,
Yeah.
Swamiji, one doubt.
Yeah.
Swamiji, you said Brahman is not known or something, but in the previous sutra, didn't we establish that Brahman is not fully
Apatata, you have a general knowledge.
general knowledge, and also we partially known, isn't it, Swamiji? Like that's what we. So how I'm not very clear about the akshepa here.
So there we have established that we have a general idea that there is something called Brahman.
Okay.
Now we are trying to define Brahman here. And in the definition, saying both the definitions are not valid.
But again, in the Tatastha Lakshana, we are saying that which is the cause of the creation is Brahman.
Yeah, but all your description is for the effect, not for the cause.
Okay.
How do you know there is a cause, number one? See, if I am looking at it logically, how do you say this is a cause, this world is created? Praka bhava, pradvamsa bhava has to be seen. कितना दुनिया देखा है? How many creations have you seen?
But again, Swamiji, one small question, when we study these sutras, Athato Brahma Jignasa, and then is this the right place for that kind of an argument? Because
now
it is for somebody.
One second. This argument is summing up how there is a Purvapaksha for it and there is a Siddhanta for it. He is not giving you all the thing. All the thing will come in the Sutras. Okay? Yeah. And it's appropriate, no? Because at any level of learning, you can question fundamentals. No? At any level, you can question fundamentals. And that's what he is doing. At any level, he is questioning a fundamental. And he is questioning it because in the answer we can talk about the fundamental. So, yeah.
But that cannot be divided further, is our understanding of
Ananta.
Hmm.
That will come later.
Yeah, that will come later.
And the observer thing also will come later.
Yeah. Then he says, all right, let us take the Purva Paksha one step. If you say Janmadyasyata, Janma Sthiti Bhangaha, from which Karana? Okay? Then become Upadana Karana, Brahman will become material. And Brahman is modified to become the world. Then we don't have to deal with Brahman, we only have to deal with the world. Are you seeing the Purva Paksha? Now what does your Shruti says? Okay? Sadaiva Saumya Idamagramasi Tekameva Advitiyam Brahman. Before all this, what was there was one Brahman. Then that Brahman became the world. So 1 kilo आटा था, 1 किलो आटा से 50 रोटी बनाया, अभी क्या है, रोटी है, आटा किधर है? उपादान कारणत्व. Okay, to avoid that, if you say, no, it refers to the cause. Acha. Then that will mean it is nimitta karanam. It become nimitta karanam. No? Then nimitta karanam is separate from the entity that is created. Potter and pot, table and carpenter. Are you seeing now the Purva Paksha is? Understand the Purva Paksha. Because we know the answer to an extent. That answer will be clearer if you understand the Purva Paksha well. Because we are re-questioning fundamentals. Okay? Re-questioning fundamentals. Because we establish the need for Brahma Jignasa. But he is challenging that. Again, yeah. I think Shankara understood the woman's mind very well. Jokes apart, but there's a
He
point
never
here.
got married also.
Huh? Even though he never got married. Yeah. He picked up a girlfriend only when he had to answer Mandra Mishra's wife, Ubhaya Bharati's questions.
Who says people who are married understand women? I mean, what is the logic?
Anyway, why am I saying this?
No, they act as if they were.
Because for a man, an issue came up, you discussed about it, whatever, a little. Okay, ठीक है, हो गया. रहवा दे. Done. For a woman, is it done? It can keep coming up, na? It can keep coming up. Why? Because that is how you are biologically wired. See, at work you solve a problem. This machine has this issue, okay? All right, you took care of it, fine. If you can take care of it, get a new machine, fine, done. At home, you finish cooking. Lunch sab ho gaya. As the Maharashtrians say, we close the kitchen. Does it remain closed? After 2 hours, the kid will come and say, Mama, I'm feeling hungry. The problem is not solved. There's nothing like once and for all done. Keeps coming up. So when you discuss an emotional issue, also it keeps coming up. It is natural. We are wired like that. Because work is like that. From prehistoric times, we went hunting. Okay? You saw a deer, fired an arrow at it, fired an arrow with it, it fell down dead. Or 2 arrows, 3 arrows. But ho gaya na, khatam, dead. It doesn't get up again. Not like the kid opening up the kitchen again. बंद किया बंद नहीं रहेगा. At least 6 hours later नहीं होगा. We are not talking about people who don't have a kitchen at home. They are exceptions to the rule. So he is bringing it up again. All this half in jest. But to understand, good to understand what happens in your mind. That's why sometimes when you solve an issue, it still troubles you afterwards. Even though you think it is solved, it troubles you because it is. That's the nature of the mind to bring it up. The nature of the mind to bring it up. Okay. Then he's answering that. Brahmanishtam karanatvam syad laksham srudbhujangavat. He says, karanatvam brahmanishtam. How? Srudbhujangavat. Like the rope and the snake. It is bada samanadikarya. Okay. The snake is the rope. Where did this snake come? From the rope only. No? The snake is not really there, so what? You saw it, no? It is there. Similarly, the creation cannot be different from Brahman. Upadana karma. At the same time, creation cannot be a modification of Brahman. Srudbhujangavat. Like the rope snake. It cannot be different. It cannot be a modification. So the question of Anyanishtatvam is answered in this. Okay? That the Lakshana is somewhere else. No, it is here only. Because this is okay, that we will see. Okay, Srudbhujangavat. Laukikani eva satyadi akhandam laksheti. Laukikani eva. Like you are in the worldly thing also. What is Satyam used in terms of? Known word, Satyam. Something that exists. Alright. From the word, something that exists, you negate all the finitude of existence. Ananta Shabdena. Why? That's why Lakshana comes into the picture. That is why. Therefore, both the Lakshanas that are there. Tatastham, of course Tatastham is there. Because it is not like pointing out Brahman with Tatastha Lakshanaya. Like supposing I am saying, hey, we are all looking for this building, Anmore building. So the last time when we came here to check it out, I said, which is the building? Where the red car is sitting in front. The second time we came, red car is not there. So I am looking for the red car. That's in front of some other building. Unfinished. But this Tatatha Lakshanam is not like that. Why? We are defining something that is there. Whenever it is there, it is there. Look at it. Yeah. Tatastha Lakshana means it is not always there. Isn't that the thing? It is not always there. Correct. But whenever it is there, whenever the creation is there, when are you going to ask this question? When you as a finite individual is there, that means creation is there. So whenever the creation is there, is Brahman not connected with the creation?
Connected.
Connected as rope snake is connected. Not connected in real terms. Because creation is mithya. Creation is mithya, na? Satyam kidhar hai? Rope snake to establish mithyatvam, not to establish delusion. To establish mithyatvam. So mithya is there. Because like the car and the building are completely different. Car and the building are completely different. Creation and Brahman is not completely different. It is like rope snake. The snake is dependent on the rope, rope is independent of the snake. Similarly, creation dependent on Brahman, Brahman independent of the creation. So because of that, he says, in this manner, Tatastha Lakshana. It is not Anyanishtam. If you are saying car and building, it is Anyanishtam. Not a problem. Whereas here what? Is right there. Srudbhujangavat. And you see how when you are saying Tatastha Lakshanam also, there is a difference in that. So this Purva Paksha helps you clarify what that Tatastha Lakshanam is also. Though normally we give the example car in front of the building for Tatastha Lakshanam. But here there is a difference. It's a refinement of that. Can you see it now? By even at Brahma Sutra level it's applicable because you are bringing in refinement in your understanding. Srag Bhujangavat. Tatastha Lakshanam, you are using the Mithya to point out the Satyam. So it is still Tatastha Lakshanam because Mithya is not always there. So it's still Tatastha. So Asya Jagataha Janmasthiti Bhanga Yasmat Karana. And it follows the Shruti Vakya also. Yato imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti preti abhisham vishanti iti Taittiriya. That's why Taittiriya Upanishad becomes very important for studying the Brahma Sutra. Lot of quotations from there. Okay, therefore, that's what he says. Okay, Srabhujagavat. So, in that, he has clarified the Tatastha Lakshana. Then Swarupa Lakshanam, Laukikanyeva Satyadini Akhandam Lakshayati. So, Akhandam Brahma Lakshayati. You use known language only. You can't use unknown words to describe. That will be like Neo Vedanta. Atma is infinite, divine, supreme bliss. What is infinite, you don't know. What is supreme, you don't know. What is bliss, highly subjective. Divine, God knows. What do you mean by divine? There was an actor who got involved with someone called Divine and got into major issues. Bliss is highly subjective. What do you understand by bliss? Arey, sit in the class, Agni Nakshatra, what a bliss, yaar, AC hai. But there it would have been all hot and this thing, and the fans also. Above me, I can't put on the fan because it disturbs the recording and my words are not carried forward. Blissful. Yeah. Somebody comes who's in a cooler climate and says, what is blissful about that? For him, blissful is something else. So, yeah. Like if Falguni's sister is attending this class from Norway. Okay, hot, what is that? That's why the idea of going south for summer came up, you know. There's nothing like hot. Anyway, that apart. So, therefore, you have to use known words. Then, in the very arrangement of words, Samanadikarnyam. Okay. Binna pravritti nimittanam padanam ekasmin bimbe tatparyam. It has to be kept in that manner. In one entity he is referring to. Why? Because then, bhadena, since the adjective relationship is not possible, you are bound to have to negate and go for lakshana. And that is possible only because of Ananta Shabdam. It's only Satyam Jnanam, then it won't go into that. If the knowledge is there, correct? No worries, there, correct. Satyam will be taken in limited sense. To bring in the limitlessness sense, the word Anantam is used. So the word Anantam is used to negate the worldly aspect of these two words. And you can't say aprasiddham. Of course it is aprasiddham. I have not seen it before. Okay. Supposing you are seeing something new with your eyes. Do you know it or don't know it? Do you say to know something from by seeing it, I have to already have known it before? Then why are you saying that Shastra is the pramanam for knowing this? So even if it's aprasiddham, it's okay. It is prasiddham enough for you to inquire into it. That we already established in Athato Brahma Jignasa. So you don't know it, correct? So know it through the Shastra. Shastra is the Pramanam. How can you say it's aprasiddham? Let it be aprasiddham, it doesn't matter. It will become prasiddham through the Shastra. So when you study, it will become prasiddham. So study. Are you getting the idea? You can't say to know something through a pramana, you should have already known it. How can you say that? Pramana is meant to know something. So the pramana for Atma Brahman is the Shastra. So if you don't know anything about it, that's why you are supposed to study. If you already know about it, then why should I teach you? Not necessary. Are you seeing that aprasiddham argument is not valid? At the most, it is valid that if I don't know it at all, if you say Brahman and you say, "Oh, kya hota hai?" You know, what is that? Even that is good enough starting point. Supposing I tell someone, "Hey, you should know Brahman." Brahman, what is that? Complete Ananda. What is Ananda? Total fulfillment. Yeah. I would like to know more about that because I am looking for fulfillment. Can you see that can be itself become a starting point, no? That much prasiddham is enough. Even if you don't know anything, you are just hearing the word now. It can lead into that inquiry. So if it is aprasiddham, that's not a problem. Because you are supposed to know, make it prasiddham through the Shastra. It is aprasiddham looking, but prasiddham shastreshu. The Shastra is very well known because as a pramana. Okay, as a pramana. Therefore, satyadi akhandam lakshiyanti. That's why it is lakshana vakya. It cannot be direct. Of course, here when you say lakshana, always have to keep in mind because we use these expressions. The finger that points the moon is not the moon. Very popular Zen statement. But without the finger, you wouldn't see the moon. So similarly, words are pointing out. The only thing is, it's not a pointer like your finger. Why? It is non-separate from you. So the words resolve into yourself. Unlike the finger and the moon being different, here the words have to resolve into yourself. That's why the whole, I think about Akhandakara Vritti, all that thing comes. Krita Jnanam Swayam Nashyeti, Jalakataka Renuvat, etc. All that thing comes into the picture. Okay. Clear up to now?
Swamiji?
Yeah, sure.
Swamiji, this Tatastha Lakshanam, can you,
Tatastha
can you
Lakshanam.
explain the a little bit like what is exactly meant by Tatastha? Is it like pointing to something else?
Yeah.
Or known, that is known to point out something unknown? Like what is the definition of Tatastha Lakshanam?
Okay, tad bhinnatve sati, tad lakshayati. Being different from the object, it indicates the object. Swarupa Lakshana, there is no need of a difference. Swarupam eva lakshayati. Tatastha Lakshana is tad bhinnatve sati. Being different from that. Tad lakshayati. So the car and the building, bhinnatve sati, tad lakshayati. Rope and snake, bhinnatve sati, tad lakshayati. But it is not totally bhinna. There is a dependency there. That's the only thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. See, it's always important. You can know from words only what you already have some idea about. Natu atma ekantena avishaya asmat pragya vishayatva. Remember? Adhyasa Bhashya. Atma is not totally unknown. Because it happens to be known as I. if that was not there, if the Atma was not known as I, no amount of Lakshana also will reveal it. That is why if you take only this definition only as Nimitta Karna, for example, okay, then what will happen? At the most you will gain Astikya Buddhi, Brahmanasti, Nimitta Karma. I have to worship it. It won't become Jnanam. It will only become Astikya Buddhi. No? Brahman hai. Asti iti Buddhi, Astikyam. That's all that from all this has come. God is in heaven and there is peace on earth. Because if he comes down, there is a lot of gadbad is there. In some religions he creates the gadbad. In some religions when we create the gadbad he comes down. Or somebody else creates the gadbad he comes down. Itna hi farak hai. So, only upadana karanam. So, upadana karanam then tad abhinnatve sati will become. Bhinnam, but at the same time, this thing, karanatvam, sragbhujangavat. Sragbhujangavat. So, it's complete, the Purvapaksha Siddhanta. Yeah. In fact, only if you read the Vaiyasiki Nyayamala for each of the sutra, each of the prakarnas. It is not for each sutra. It's each prakarana. You get a good understanding of the whole Brahma Sutras. Yeah. Okay. Now, after that, going into the text. अथ द्वितीयं जन्मादि अधिकरणं. The second, this is जन्मादि अधिकरणं. ब्रह्म जिज्ञासितव्यम् इति उक्तं. किं लक्षणं पुनः तद् ब्रह्म इत्याह भगवान् सूत्रकारः. So when you had already said ब्रह्म जिज्ञासितव्यम् इति अतः तो ब्रह्म जिज्ञासा. Therefore naturally what will be the question that will come? Okay, किं लक्षणं पुनः तद् ब्रह्मणः. तद् what is the lakshana? Because if I have to know something, I have to understand it, define it, point it out, whatever. But tell me. So he says, Bhagavan Sutrakaraha Janmadhyasya Yataha iti. Okay, Janmadhyasya Yataha. Okay. That means Asya Jagataha. Okay.
So Yataha is this.
No, Yataha is Yasmat Karana.
Karana.
Panchami, in that sense. Sashti actually, but also used in the sense of Panchami. Apadar Panchami, no? That from which things come. But it is actually also used in Sashti. I will explain that when it comes in. Okay. So, two main sutras are connected, two main vakyas are connected with it. One is Yato vaimani bhutani jayanti yena jatani jivanti yat preti abhisham vishanti iti tad vijignyasasva tad brahma. Taitriya. Okay? From Bhriguvalli. Then the conclusion in Bhriguvalli. Anandadhe khalvemani bhutani jayanti anandena jatani jivanti anandam preti abhisham vishanti iti. Okay? So he started with Tatastha and ended with Swarupa right there. That's why he is quoting that. You can quote Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That's also applicable. So that means what? Okay. These are quoted anywhere in Brahma Sutras, anywhere in the Upanishad, in the Shastra or Prakarana Granthas also. Wherever any definition of Brahman is there, it is connected with the Sutra Janmadhyasya. Correct? Wherever any definition is given, the connection is to the Sutra. Any Upanishad, anywhere. Forget 10 major Upanishads, take 132 published Upanishads. 1008 alleged Upanishads not yet published. Wherever a definition of Brahman is given, it will be connected with the Sutra. You will be able to see the connections. If you can't see, thoda vichara karna padega. You will see it. The connection will be seen. All right.
So this one word they have used, Bhagwan Sutrakara.
हाँ.
Brahman क्यों नहीं use किया?
नहीं, Bhagwan Sutrakara. Sutrakara means what? One who has done the sutras.
अच्छा,
And
Yes, sir.
Shankara is is referring to Vyasa respectfully as Bhagwan Sutrakara. As Bhagwan Sutrakara. That's why you say, na? Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa. Vyasa is supposed to be Vishnu. Then Shankara will become Shankara Rupa. Yeah. In fact, that there was once a debate. Vyasa comes as an old man.
अच्छा,
Yeah? Because Vyasa is supposed to be Chiranjeevi. Okay? As long as the Kalpa is there, he is going to be alive. Where he is, don't ask me. मैंने देखा नहीं है. Okay. Hi, किधर में? So he comes as an old man and has a debate with Shankara on some sutra from the 3rd chapter. Debate goes on. And Padmapada or someone watching the whole debate, he says, okay, Vyasa is, between Vishnu and Shiva, when there is a debate, Kinkara kim karoti, what can a servant like me, a dasa like me do? Great dasa. Why? He gave a Suchaka to Shankara there, debating with Vyasa himself. And so both of them have a good laugh at the whole thing. And that time it seems Shankara was only 16 years old.
But what would they have debated? Because they would have both said the same thing.
No, but Purvaksha Siddhanta can go on. Na? Vyasa can challenge his own sutra. Na? That's the beauty of a debate, You can take, in fact, when I think maybe Guru Purnima or something should organize that. One take the Purvaksha stand, one take the Siddhanta stand and debate. Okay. Doesn't matter who wins, who loses. Purvaksha can win. We used to have this in the ashram little bit, discussion groups and people didn't want me in any of the group. They used to, finally they used to go and ask, Swamiji, where are you getting all these Purvakshas? Brahma. Swamiji had a good laugh. This is good. Ask him to give you the answer, he will give it to you. Come and ask, he will give it. Because I think of the answer before I can get the Purvaksha. And there is one Guru I met, he was great at picking up Purvakshas. Then he will come to me. Arey yaar, problem ho gaya, man. I had developed this Purvaksha, now I don't know how to answer it. So, you can take a stand like that and question the whole thing. And that is exactly where your understanding of Vedanta really comes out. Challenge your understanding. That's real mananam actually. Yeah. That's why we have this Shastrartha and all that thing happens. Traditional circles. अभी वो tradition में भी थोड़ा कम हो गया है. We should revive that somewhere. Let's see. One topic for September Guru Bhai meet. How to revive this old tradition. Shastrartha. Yeah. So, between that. So, Vyasa, Shankara was only 16 years old. Shankara was only 16 years old at that time. So, Vyasa blesses him and says, may your life double because he was supposed to die at 16. Yeah, when he was born, that was a boon that Shivambala was given. Do you want a son who live brilliant but he will live only up to 16? Or you want someone average but who will live a long life? And it's the glory of the parents that they chose an intelligent, a genius boy. Doesn't matter if the life is short. Very few parents today will say, मेरे को average दे दो बाबा, you'll get married, then I'll see my grandson and all ना बस हो गया. So when Vyasa blesses him, then he lives up to 32. That's why he dies at 32. Anyway, that apart, stories apart. Therefore, this Bhagavan Sutrakara, he refers to Vyasa with respect as that. Okay. Then he says, Janmaha Utpatti Adi. Janma means Utpatti. Janma Sthiti Bhangaha iti. Bhanga or Laya. Okay. Janma Sthiti Adi. Asya iti Tadguna Samvijnana Bahurihi. Now he's going a bit into grammar. Okay. Tadguna Samvijnana Bahurihi. What is Tadguna? Bahuri is two times. I think it is explained in your notes also.
Yeah.
Where an attribute or attributes of the component words are ever present along with that. Like he gives the example, Lamba Karnam Anaya, the one with the long ears, bring the guy with the long ears. So the guy standing there with long ears, Spock from Star Trek is standing there. And there is Atad Gunas, Samvijnana Bahuri also. Drishta Samudram Anaya. Bring that guy who has seen the ocean. They sail the 7 seas. Bring him. I want to have a talk with him. The ocean doesn't come with him. When the Drishta Samudram comes, the ocean doesn't come with him. Atad Gunaha. Whereas Lamba Karna, long years. What is Kodanda Pani? Rama's description. Atad Guna or Tad Guna?
In the temples it is
Tadguna.
It depends.
I was just going to say.
If you are invoking Rama as a warrior, then Tad Guna. If Rama is sitting with Sita, Atad Guna. Though I have to say, I mean, this is a normal example given in Sanskrit. Though from mind this, I have to say, once you are a warrior, your weapon is not far from you, okay? You may not have it in your hand, but it will not be far from you. It's something like this. Huh? Just to digress a bit. For this Tadguna, Atadguna. All of us have what do you call an everyday carry? EDC.
I never knew that was a full form of EDC.
Everyday carry.
You just said, I said, oh God, that's what it's
So
saying.
EDC is everyday.
The old,
So
the
what is-
olden days, they used to, the Britishers.
So what is your everyday carry? Phone definitely. Because a lot of stuff happens through the phone. So phone is an everyday carry. Then what are you used as habit? Everyday carry.
The women will have lipstick.
Some tissue paper or a handkerchief, old fashioned like me.
Yeah,
Handkerchief.
hanky,
Wallet.
Pen.
Pen. For me, pen is always there.
glasses.
Not necessary all the time, but it is there. You think you really read a pen now? Rare, no? After 4-5 days, I have used the pen today.
I was just going to say, where did you use it?
So, but it becomes part of your EDC. No? So, if you are a warrior, every day.
But you use whatever as a weapon. No? You're a warrior.
No, but if you are an ED, if you are a, let us say, you are in IB operating, Intelligence Bureau operating. Even if they are off duty, they'll have a small revolver with them or a small pistol with them, what they call a pocket carry. See, if you are wearing a uniform, the revolver can be a big thing, a 45 or
that's
anything.
it.
But if you are without that, A small one, a pocket revolver that can be slipped into your civilian clothes will be there with you. Why? You are internal operative. When you will be attacked, when you have to attack, you don't know. Never really off duty. Never really off duty.
Or a knife at least.
Huh?
Or a knife.
Some weapon will always be there. Yeah. Some weapon will always be there. Part of your agency. So Rama Kodanda Pani, I am sure the Kodanda is not very far from him anyway. I took from there. I took off from there. So whether it is Tadguna or Atadguna. But still, I am sure Rama didn't have it in his hand when he was talking with Sita.
Maybe for defense.
Huh?
Cannot say, cannot be said.
Not so we can put, okay, warrior, Tadguna. Otherwise, just to understand what is Tadguna and what is Atadguna. And that also is contextual. Remember, everything is contextual. Okay? How do you decide contextual? Okay? Yeah. Pitambram. Okay? Pitambram Drashya. Have a look at the Pitambara. Hari, Krishna, Vishnu, etc. Pitambram. But it's not there all. It is Tadguna. Yeah, but it can become Atadguna also.
Yeah.
So Pitambar is for Vishnu also.
Yeah, Vishnu, Krishna, Rama.
When we wear
Pitambara.
the
Wherever Vishnu is there is Pitambara. But it can become Digambara also.
yeah, it's called Netra Darshanam in
Exactly.
Tirupati.
Yeah.
It's called Netra Darshanam in
Yeah.
Tirupati. Like
Nirmali
60 days.
Darshan they'll call it.
Yeah.
They'll call it Nirmali without any Alankara.
No Alankaram.
No Alankara. When he's going for a dip in the river, he's going to wear Pitambara. So, contextual always. Okay. So, here contextually, it is Tadguna. You see, Asya Jagataha. Janmasthiti Tadguna. Janmasthiti Gandhaha Samasarthaha. Bhangaha. Iti Samasartha. The complete meaning will be Janmasthiti Bhangaha. Bhanga meaning Layaha there.
Bhanga is destruction, Laya also.
Yeah, both it can be. Contextually again.
Okay.
Contextually again. Okay. Janmanascha aditvam shruti nirdepe apeksham vastu vruti apeksham cha. Okay. Janmanascha aditvam. You have mentioned Janma first and Adi after that, etc. after that. Janma Adi yasya. He says it is Shruti Nirdesha Apeksham. Because the Shruti mentions it like that. Okay, Yeto Imani Bhutani Jayante. It's first. No? So here also you have mentioned Janmaha first. And Vastu Vrutta Apeksham. In reality also that's how it happens. No? Something is created, then it is sustained, then it is destroyed. No? You can't say something is destroyed, then it is created. Then something else may be created. That's a different thing. Yesterday's bean sabji can become today's patties. That's a different thing. Something new is created, something modified is created. Yeah. So Janma is Vastu Vruti Apekshascha. Shruti Nirdeshatvat Yato Vayamani Bhutani Jayanti iti. This is explaining that. This is how the Shruti is quoted. Shruti Nirdesha. Asmin Vakye Janmasthiti Pralayanam Kramadarshana. Because he shows an order of succession as far as Janmasthiti Bhanga is concerned. Okay. Vastu Vrutam api Janma Labdha Tat Kayasya Dharminihi Sthiti Pralaya Sambhava. And Vastu Vritti is what? Only after a thing is born can you have Sthiti and Bhanga. Yeah, Prashant, you had a question.
Swamiji, just in the context of Janma, Sthiti, Bhanga and Brahman,
Yeah.
how is that Tadguna or Atadguna applied here, Swamiji? What
Okay,
is the...
Tadguna is applied meaning when you are talking about Janma, Sthiti, Bhanga, it is connected with the creation. Creation comes along with that. The guna is there in the creation.
So Janma, Sthiti, Bhanga is...
So the creation,
comes along.
and the creation is connected to Brahman. Tadguna.
Okay.
Yeah, that way. Okay, Sambhava. Then Asyeti. When you say Asya, what do you mean? Pratyakshadi Sannidhipatasya Dharminaha Idama Nirdeshaha. Idama. Asya meaning Idama Nirdeshaha. Asya is this thing of this. Asya Jagat. What is that? Whatever is seen by you, known by you. That means what? The Jagat. What is unknown also? Why? Because it can become known later. What is capable of being objectified by you. So the whole creation, in other words. Asya refers to the whole creation. Because Pratyakshadi, Pratyaksha, Anumana, etc. Sannibhita Patasya Dharmina Idama Nirdesha. Okay. Then he says, even though Yataha is Panchami, Apadana Panchami, Yasmat Karana. See, the Panchami is always used to indicate a source. Okay? Gramat Agataha. Panchami, isn't it? From Apadana. It also can remain, indicate source of a thing. The source of a thing. Yataha, Yasmat Karana. But here he says it's also used in the sense of Sashti. Okay? Why? He'll say that. Sashti Janmadi Dharma Sambandhartha. Okay? Why? Because the Jagata has to be connected with Brahman also. Or you can say, whose creation are we talking about? Jagataha creation. But from which cause? Brahmana. 6 case. Why 6 case? Because creation is connected with Brahman. 6 case is connection. Not always possessive, it's connection. So connection means it has to be with Brahman. What type of a connection? Bada connection. Srakchandana. Yeah.
So if we use the word connection, means there are 2 things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like how rope snake connection. That's why he previously mentioned that. Bada samanadhikarana. So that is why he is putting in this. That Sashti is put in only to indicate a connection. Then he says, what type of connection? Rajju Sarpavat. Srak Charpavat. Srak is a garland. A garland that has been used and thrown. Yeah.
When you say from, the connection automatically comes.
Not necessarily. Connection is there, but there can be distinctness. Okay. Where did you get the phone from that shop? So there is no, except the souls, there is no connection now between the phone and the shop.
Oh, that.
Yeah, it's 2 distinct things.
So this Bad Samanadhikarana might be.
Bada samanadhikarana. Meaning there is samanadhikarana, but through negation. Without negation
of the
doesn't-
snake, this word.
Like see, big blue fragrant lotus. When you use the word big blue fragrant lotus, there is direct samanadhikarana. That's why there becomes adjectives of lotus. In Bada samanadhikarana, they don't become adjectives. You have to go for implied meaning. Like Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Brahman is not, Satyam Jnanam Anantam are not adjectives of Brahman. Therefore, they don't have an adjectival relationship. You cannot have Anantam Satyam or Anantam Jnanam. Therefore, you go for the implied meaning. Whenever you go for the Lakshana, implied meaning, then Bada Samanadhikarana is working there. Not direct Samanadhikarana, Bada Samanadhikarana.
Swamiji, I didn't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand this sentence. Vastu Vrittamapi Janmana. This sentence, Vastu Vrittamapi.
Vastu Vrittamapi. When you look at it from the reality, the experiential standpoint, in anything, something has to be born before you can sustain or destroy it. Yeah? So Janma has to come first, that's all he said. Your question.
So, Swamiji, actually we are talking about 2 different orders of reality, no?
Yeah.
But we always have, we always talk in terms of a connection, and then we always use the word Bada. Because finally we are not even, the creation,
Yeah.
you cannot even connect it to Brahman because
Exactly.
it is not on the same this thing,
Order
right?
of reality.
So-
but at the same time, it is not away from Brahma. See,
Yeah.
it's very important to understand this part of it. That world is not Brahman. But the world cannot stand independent of Brahman.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you say Brahman has created the world, okay, then creation difference will go nimitta karana. And if you say Brahman has become the world, Bahusyam prajaye yeti, then what will happen? Brahman has modified to become the world. Both are not applicable here. Why? It is nimitta upadana karana. Now look at the limitation of the definition also. What is Ishvara? Nimitta upadana karana. If it is both nimitta and upadana, has it modified to become? Then nimitta is compromised. Or Brahman becomes finite. Correct? That's why in the beginning some books will say, as consciousness it is nimittam, Maya is upadana. Therefore Maya modifies to become the world. That's why you will have all the experience, this thing of panchikaranam, etc. Maya, sattva, rajas, tamas. From sattva, rajas, tamas, sattva became this, rajas became that, you know. Your emotions, your this thing, your karmendriyas, etc. From sattva you got your jnanam and jnanendriyas, etc. Then tamas aspect underwent panchikaranam, and from there it became akasha, vayu, agni, and then the combination created. Correct? This is the theory. Just to show that Brahman has not modified, it is Maya that is not. Again, in people's mind, then you can again think of it as dual.
Yeah, Maya, where are we
And that is a big
establishing
problem
Maya
for people.
dependent on Brahman?
Yeah. Brahman plus, then they'll come up with formulas. Brahman plus Maya is equal to Ishvara. So which is bigger now, Brahman or Ishvara? Number one. Then I don't want anything to do with Ishvara. I want pure Brahman. As though they have to separate. So all this nonsense comes up for you all. I have preempted that issue itself. In my teaching, I have preempted some of these issues from not coming up. But you find it there in all people. They make these formulas like that. Ishvara minus Maya is Brahman. Brahman plus Maya is then in your mind there will be two entities. No, I don't want anything much to do with Ishvara. I want to know pure Brahman. So I asked them a question. Brahman is asking that question or Abrahman is asking that question? If Abrahman is asking that question, you will never know the truth. If Brahman is asking the question, then you need not know the truth. So there is a paradox. Therefore, you have to connect that creation with Brahman. It's Brahman itself that appears as a creation. Then how does it appear? You can bring in Maya. Maya is that which helps Brahman appear as a creation. That's why I always write from the beginning, whether it's the Gita or the Sikh, said Ishvara and Brahman are not two separate entities. Ishvara is a name given to Brahman to include creation. Yeah, so this is the thing.
In Gita also Maya there.
Yeah.
I read. Maya is a power with Brahma.
Yeah, that's how we say.
And for us it's a delusion.
Yeah. You can't take it as separate. Therefore, these points become important. Yeah.
But the power is Brahman also, no? Like when we invoke the Devi, we are invoking the Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti. And so, power in the colloquial world, we cannot completely negate that part also. No? Because in all the upasanas, what we are doing is actually Maya.
So, upasanas, once again, upasanas is what? It's a looking at Ishvara in a finite manner.
Then there it is contextual again.
Niskrishta vastuni, utkrishta vastu, aropaha is upasana.
Aropa,
So there again is a different question.
then the power becomes applicable also.
Yeah.
Because Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti
That
are
is also
all-
Maya only, na?
Exactly. So when we are invoking Maya, we are invoking the Shaktis.
But
and
are
then
you
the
invoking,
Devi.
one second, are you invoking Maya separately or with Brahman?
With Brahma.
It is always with Brahman.
Exactly.
But lack of understanding that
Yeah,
what we are
makes an
doing
issue.
is actually. So nothing is wrong.
Yeah. No, so there is where the whole thing comes. You have to look at it from the standpoint that it is Vedam all the time. Sashti. That's why the Sashti is used. That is why it is not mere apadana. Yeah, Nita, you had a question.
Not just true. Then can we ever use the word Maya, Sahita Brahman and Maya, Rahita Brahman?
No.
Again, same thing. You are using Sanskrit to
yeah.
replace plus and minus.
No.
We can never say the word like Maya, Rahita Brahman.
You know, or Sahitam also you can use.
Yeah. Because Maya is always there in Brahman.
Exactly.
So,
And not there as well. Maya is always in Brahman and Maya is not there in Brahman also.
yeah, I didn't understanding.
Because you are taking Maya as an entity.
Yeah.
That is why. Maya is itself apparent, no?
Yes.
Remember always Ya Mat Sa Maya.
Correct.
That which is not there is Maya.
Yes, sir.
And the question of the 18th elephant, remember all that? All the stories indicating what? Maya is not an entity as real as Brahman. Therefore, Sahitam, Rahitam also you have to take with a pinch of salt. It's okay to present just for understanding. As long as you understand that Maya is apparent.
Apparent.
Yeah. Once the apparent nature is clear, then you Sahitam, Rahitam, etc. is fine.
But because so many things have to be explained with the presence of Maya, that is the thing.
Agreed. So we use it only for explanation.
Yeah, only for it.
Upayaha sarva evete. All the prakriyas are what? Upayaha for explanation, nothing more. Okay.
Swamiji,
Yeah.
this rope snake,
Hmm.
like in Upanishads, in various stages, like in Tatastha Lakshana,
Hmm.
we are using rope snake. After that, we the kurta and the thread example as Maya.
Hmm.
That is a different gradation and different application. Then again,
Upanishad also it comes,
the-
pot
the-
and clay, all over Chandogya it comes.
Yeah. So then so now if we use a kurta example in the Tatastha Lakshana, that won't work. We need the rope snake.
You can work with kurta and this thing.
And
also.
even that Mithya, the oasis,
Yeah.
that also.
Yeah. It helps to show how it is not really there. To help the beginner's mind to understand that complete negation is possible. Only for that. Otherwise, all this is more of a better example than that. But that example is necessary in the beginning to explain something. Because it's easier to understand that rope snake example. Whereas pot and clay is a little bit more subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why in the beginning we'll use rope snake. It's a good place to stop. 12, almost 12:30. Okay. Next time we'll continue further. Okay. Om Tat Sat.